He-Man fans, I'm JoeFan82 here with another action figure review. This time I'm looking at the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man figure from Mattel. This is pretty exciting for me. This is my first retail He-Man that I have bought since I was a kid. I do have the Filmation He-Man from Super 7, but this is the first really retro style He-Man that I have bought as an adult, and here he is in the package. We've got the great classic Masters of the Universe logo on the top. It says new for 2020, ages 6 and up, most powerful man in the universe, modern posing, retro play. And here he is in the bubble, nice big bubble with the figure. Turning around on the back, got some beautiful card art on the top, and my card is not in the best shape, but that's okay. I'm not keeping him in the package, so you might want to check that if you're at the store. Look at the card. On the top it says, with the mystical power sword, the mighty He-Man protects Eternia from the forces of evil. And on the bottom we've got a cross-sell of other figures in the line: He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, Evelyn, and Beastman. These are all in Wave 1. And it's a little bit of instructions there. You put the sword in his hand, you can move him into different positions, and everything is looking really nice here. Love the packaging. And here he is out of the package, instantly recognizable. I think hits all the marks of the classic He-Man look. This is of course based on the vintage figure from 1982 and the immensely successful toy line and cartoon that went with him. And this is a new line reboot of the line for retail in the year 2020. Walmart exclusive right now, but starting next year should be more widely available. I was very excited to finally get this figure. I actually found him at a Walmart by himself. No other He-Man figures were there, so I did find him in the wild. This is a completely new head sculpt for He-Man. We have not seen this one before. The head is a little bit wider, I think, at the temples than I'm used to, maybe leaning into that barbarian kind of look. He's got longer hair this time around, very bright blonde hair. You can see on the back his gray armor goes all the way around and fastens there in the back with a little sheath for his sword. Very muscular build like He-Man should have, and a traditional symbol, red symbol there on the front. He's got a very determined look on his face. He's ready for action, ready to go up against Skeletor and the bad guys, but really looking good here. And his lower half, we have the traditional orange belt with brown loincloth and brown and goldish yellowish boots, fur-lined boots, muscular legs. Oh, and he's got the orange gauntlets on his arms. Looking at his articulation, his head is on a ball joint. Great range of motion. This figure has way more articulation than the vintage figure had. You can see we can do a full 360 on his head. Really nice range of motion there. His shoulders can come up about that far. He's got too many muscles. He can't go higher than that. And he's got a he's got a swivel right at the bicep. And the joints on mine are a little bit stiff. I'll take stiff over too loose. You don't want too loose right out of the gate. And his shoulders can do a full 360. He's got a 360 at the wrist, then another little joint there at the palm. And same thing on the other side. And a joint here at the waist, you can turn all the way around. The legs are on, I believe these are ball joints. Completely new construction here, guys. Much more durable than the vintage ones. Legs come up about that far, pretty far. Knees can do, and his legs come up pretty far there, straight up. He's got knees that really do a decent job of hiding the joint there. We can do 90-degree knees. Then he's got another joint at the boot. The boot can swivel all the way around. And then he's got rocker ankles and another joint right at the top of the foot. His right hand has a gripping sculpt. He's got kind of doing a little thumbs up there. And his left hand, he's ready to play the guitar. Let's look at his accessories. Of course, he comes with his power sword, silver power sword with handle. It's got that extra little handle off to the side to give him more stability when holding it. And notice this is a half of a power sword, not a full one. Just like the vintage figure, I personally would have preferred a full sword over the half sword, but that's just me. So hopefully we'll get a full one eventually in this line. But the idea with the half sword was it goes together with Skeletors, and that will open up Castle Grayskull. But a half sword here, and it can go into the sheath on his back for easy storage. His shield, red and gray, nicely sculpted. Simple sculpt, but looks great. This is how he holds it here on the back. This is one solid piece of plastic, much more sturdy than the what you would find on the vintage figure. And you just slide his fingers through there and then snap on that part onto his forearm there. And it's on there really well. That's not going to fall off at all. So really nice job with the shield. And if the sword doesn't do it, this giant axe will. It's very simple sculpt, but nicely done. The only thing I would have preferred is if they could get one other paint app on there somewhere. It's looking a little bit plain, but really nice sculpt, and he holds it really well. And you can get some fantastic poses with this figure that you will not get on your vintage one. With this new articulation, you can get him in all kinds of action poses. You can stand him up. These guys are still not exactly 100% correct proportions. Obviously, he's much more muscular and bigger on the top, and his legs are a little on the stubby side, so you still kind of get that crouched look that the vintage figure had. But now you can have him look. Now he's looking down. He lost a battle. Oh, so sad. Really just awesome array of possibilities here for posing and playability. If hopefully kids are being introduced to this guy and are enjoying the line too. He comes with a mini comic, just like the old vintage figures did. This one is Beast Barrage. I believe this is included with every Wave 1 figure. You've got Beastman on the cover with some creatures there. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. You can read it. If you get one of these figures, you can go through. Pretty simple story. Skeletors after Prince Adam. Tila and Man-at-Arms show up to help fight off Beastman. Prince Adam turns into He-Man. He-Man comes in and saves the day as usual. But really nice artwork here. I love to see this return of this item that was included with the vintage figures. And of course, the beautiful cross-sell on the back. Here's a little comparison with the Filmation figure from Super 7. Obvious differences here. In the Filmation figure is 7 inches and has a much darker paint scheme. The new Origins He-Man, much brighter, much more likely to pop off the shelves if you're walking down the toy aisle. But the Filmation one has much more accurate, I guess, human proportions than the Origins figure. You can see he's not as bulky on the top. This 7-inch guy is supposed to look exactly like the character from the Filmation series, the He-Man that we saw in the cartoon, while the new Origins He-Man, I believe, is really supposed to be more based on the vintage action figure. The awesome new sculpt and almost G.I. Joe level of articulation really bring this new figure up to the modern standards for action figures, and I'm a big fan. I hesitated on this line, but I took the plunge, and I'm very satisfied. So I highly recommend picking this figure up if you can find it. These are Walmart exclusives as of right now, but I believe starting next year they're going to be widely available at retail and online. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future